Hi and welcome along to AFTV. Good morning to everybody. We are here because we're about to find out who Arsenal have in the 2022-23 season, the fixture list, which we have exclusively seen. We've had it actually for a couple of hours here at AFTV, but we're not allowed to reveal what the fixtures are until 9 o'clock, right? Which is in about 8 minutes time. We are going to give you the full Arsenal fixture list, right? So make sure you keep it locked here because it's exclusive. Well, not exactly exclusive. There are going to be a few other people going to have it, but we're going to be the ones who've got exclusively the Arsenal ones, and we're going to run through it, give you our opinions on what we make of the start, what we make of the middle, what we make of the end. Of course, what makes it a lot different this season is that we've got a break for the World Cup. Never ever happened before. First time happening, James. Yeah. And we're going to have that break for the World Cup. And we all remember how we came back after the international break last season and threw away our top four chances. Yeah. It's going to be very interesting to see how that pans out this season.
Yeah, the World Cup's it's a massive factor in this because, as was rightly pointed out on Twitter by, I think it was a guy called Mo I chat to often, 16 matches are being played before the World Cup.
Yep.
Almost half the season done by early November. So that's going to be a really congested period where maybe there'd normally be breaks because of international breaks. You think Nations League and friendlies and qualifiers. There's not going to be as much of that anymore. The season kicks off the 6th of August, we know. So it's going to be a case of a really congested fixture list for Arsenal. Then you go away, or for everyone. Then you go away and you've got whoever you've got at the World Cup doing whatever. Then you're back on Boxing Day, which, as we know, is a massive footballing tradition in the UK, playing Boxing Day football. And then you've got yourselves, what's left, 22 games, I think my maths is right, of a season after that. So it's going to be a really, really interesting season. Yeah. You put momentum together in the first half of the season. Normally you're ready to take that into December, and where it's quite a packed, fixture list. But that's not going to be the case. You're going to have to go away for 6-7 weeks and then come back and start again. Yeah,
I get the feeling that this season there could be some strange results because of that World Cup being right in the middle of the season, and also the fact that it's so congested at the start of the season means that we have to get off to a good start. And we all remember last season. Let me just remind you of our fixtures at the start of last season. Our first 3 games were Brentford away, Chelsea at home, Man City away, and we lost all 3 of them. We got off to a horrendous start. It was a difficult start to the season, but that was a tough start, and we don't really want to have that again. But we will be revealing it. We're going to be revealing what that start is in about 5 minutes' time.
That start of the season last year was made worse by the fact that we weren't ready for the start of the season. And I think Arsenal fans, I know what gets said sometimes. I don't think people are unreasonable enough to think, you know what, you're probably going to lose at home to the European champions and then away to the Premier League champions. I think there was a sense of, but it was the fact that we went in and we were so uncompetitive, 5-0 at City, with a team that looked nothing like the side that we saw for the rest of the season. 2-0 at home to Chelsea, and they'd got Lukaku and they'd spent the money, they got what they needed to do, and we were still dithering with fees. And wasn't Odegaard unveiled for that Chelsea game? He wasn't playing that game.
Yeah. Most of the new signings didn't play until
Norwich.
Until we got to Norwich, the 4th game.
Exactly, and I think that's what made that start so irritating. There's one thing losing games, and I think you never want to lose your first 3. That was awful, but to go into them without giving yourself your best chance is what's so frustrating. We did a live when the fixtures were announced a year ago. I remember it, and we all said, okay, it's Brentford away, we know that's going to be like Friday night under the lights, it's going to be a big one for them, full crowd, be ready for it, and we weren't. And again, Arsenal need to do the same this season.
Definitely. Abhinav says, no point in getting excited about the fixtures when you're not focused in bringing in players to lift our standard. Well, maybe when the owners and the manager have seen the fixture list, which they have seen it, it might focus them. They might look at that and think, oh, you know what, we need to get things in place for the start of the season. Because like you just said, we don't want to get off to another poor start.
Yeah.
You know, we want to get off to a good start this time. You know what I mean? And we don't want a repeat of last year, where we were just basically after those first 3 games playing catch up. People were talking about us getting relegated. There was doom and gloom.
Tottenham had won their first 3, so we were quite literally opposite ends of the table. It was painful. We were at City that opening game, and you almost got to the point where, do you remember the Arsenal fans actually stayed and clapped those players, and you almost felt a bit sorry for them because you knew that they weren't. A lot of them weren't at the level we need them to be, and Arteta knew that because come Norwich 2 weeks later, you know, like 8 changes, scrapped, gone, most of them.
Yeah. Well, we're about 3 minutes away from revealing the fixtures for this season, or should I say for the forthcoming season. And we've seen them.
Can I ask you something? Would you rather a difficult start or a difficult end? Obviously, we know how it's panned out. But I'm just curious, if you were designing your perfect fixture list, I know everyone plays everyone, but there is such thing as having certain teams at certain times and certain runs in the season. Do you want a difficult start or a difficult end?
I prefer, like, so for me, a team like Man City, for instance, I'd rather have them the first game of the season.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they're not ready. They're not in full
They
flow.
may not be up to full speed yet.
Fine.
I mean, if you look at a lot of seasons, City start a little, you know what I mean, they're not quite there yet. They're getting up to speed. Sometimes you're better off getting a team like that early. What you don't want, though, is some of those promoted teams early because they're flying. At the start of the season, they got nothing to lose. They're flying. Sometimes when you get them a little bit later on, you just, you know, they've kind of now, you know what I mean, the novelty's worn off a little bit. It's a bit tougher for them, you know. So I don't want none of the promoted teams right at the start of the season, just like what happened to us last year, getting Brentford away. But we're about to get into them. We're ticking down to 9 o'clock. I'm looking at my watch here. 30 seconds to go, and we are going to reveal to you the fixtures for this season. And so we're nearly there. Let me just where's it gone?
So I've got them here if you need.
You got them here?
I've got them here.
I've got them here as well. I've got them here. Right. And we're going to reveal that. How many seconds we got left now? I don't want to. 10 seconds.
We don't want a lawsuit.
9, 8, 7, 6.
That's New Year's.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. This is the fixtures for this season. I can tell you, there's a lot of people been saying in the chat, we got Crystal Palace away first game of the season. You're right. We have got Crystal Palace away. That is our first game. As a matter of fact, that is the first game of the Premier League. Yet again, we have got that opening game. I see what they're trying to do here, right? They've looked at it. They've said to themselves, you know what? This is another one that Arsenal can lose. Away game, another London derby, away at Crystal Palace. They got beat there last year. This would be a brilliant way to start off the season, you know, and then have all some other big games over the weekend. Crystal Palace away. That is the first game of the season for Arsenal. 8 o'clock kickoff on the Friday night. James.
They know what sells. You're right. I bet the minute they saw, wow, Arsenal are going to Palace, are they? That sounds like a nice Friday night, doesn't it? I mean, you can have harder games, but that's a pretty tough opening start. Very tough, very tough. Remember, last year against Crystal Palace, you know, we didn't beat them in the 2 games we played them. We drew with them at home. Yeah. And remember, that was a little last-minute goal that we got to get us back into the game, you know, by Lacazette. We should have had 0 points last season. And in a way, that was the start of our demise when we went away after that international break and had to take on Crystal Palace. And we got beat 3-0. Yeah. And it was a disastrous result. And actually, they deserved to win. They were the much better team. That is a very tough game to start off with London Derby. The next game, the following week, and all the following games are all down listed as 3 o'clock kickoffs. At the moment, the only certain game we know of is that first week that we are playing on the Friday night at 8 o'clock. The following game is Leicester City at home.
followed by Bournemouth, one of the newly promoted teams away. Always a great trip to go to Bournemouth. The week after that, another one of the newly promoted teams on the 27th of August. Arsenal play Fulham at home, followed by, rounding off the month, Aston Villa at home. So
which at the moment is down for a Monday night game, that Villa one.
Yeah, that is actually, yes, that is down for, sorry, my correction, that is down for a Monday night at 7:45, Arsenal versus Aston Villa. James, 3 home games in the first 5, which is good. What do you make of the start in general, the month of August?
If we have a look at the 5 here, that's not a bad start.
No,
and it's really when you're doing these kind of shows and you're looking at the fixtures, it's you don't want to disrespect sides, but let's be honest, that's a pretty favourable first 5. If you look at that, we beat Leicester at home last season. We beat Norwich, who I know obviously have gone down. Fulham are the newly promoted side. We beat them at home. We did pretty well against the newly promoted sides at home, and then Villa. At home as well, who we beat 3-1. Bournemouth away. It's not a trip that Arsenal have typically really hated. It's not. You listen, we've dropped points there, but I think you've got to say for your first 5, that's okay.
That's a good start. I mean, apart from the very first game of the season, which I think that's a very difficult one to start off, going away to Crystal Palace, Patrick Vieira. Very, very good side. Would be an electric atmosphere. That's a really tough one. But I'd look at the other games and I'd say we have a chance to get off to a very, very good start of the season. Yeah. Like you said, without disrespecting any of those teams. I said it earlier, you don't really want to get any of these sort of promoted teams. But after about the 3rd game, having Bournemouth away, Bournemouth's not the most hostile place to go to. Always a nice trip. Plus, as well, we go in there in August. Might be a bit of sunshine. Could plan a little trip there down on the beach and everything.
Can I put myself in for that one? That'll be all right.
Down on the beach, make a nice weekend of it. And then, of course, Fulham. But Fulham at home. Again, newly promoted team. But if you want to catch one of them newly promoted teams, better to have them at home than have to go to their place. Yeah. And then Aston Villa, again at home. Yeah. Villa are a good side, very good players, but we beat them pretty comprehensively at home last time out.
Yeah, and we beat them away. Look good. I think that's a nice first five.
That's a Monday night. Let's move on to September now. This is where it starts to get a little bit more tricky, right? Going into September. So on the 3rd of September, Manchester United away. Always a tough place. We've not had a great record there. Lost there, of course, last year. And then following that up, we've got Everton at home. Got a good record against Everton at home. That's 10th of September. That's my birthday. Hopefully a happy birthday, if indeed the game stays on that date. It's listed as a 3 o'clock kickoff at the moment. Probably change. And then on the 17th of September, Brentford away. Now, we all know what happened at Brentford away last year. Will be a tough game, but certainly at least we'll be up to speed a bit to when we get to that game. You'll note that there's only 3 games in the month. That's because the last couple of weeks of that month, there's international games. The last set of international games before the Nation League games, before we get to the World Cup. What do you make of that month? What do you make of September?
I mean, again, Man United away. I guess Eric Ten Hag in the building. They're going to improve under him. Will they have improved massively 6 games into the new season? You hope not. Listen, they'll have had new players. They'll have had some time with a new manager. They'll be a better side than last year. But it's not like we're getting fully fledged Eric Ten Hag football by game week 6 of the Premier League season. So that's probably a nice-ish time to go to Old Trafford, especially on the back of the start we've got. Then you've got Everton at home. Again, you should be doing the job whenever it is in the season. Brentford away. Look, I didn't want to make too many excuses for Arsenal last season, but there was that whole fans in the ground first time opening, league game of the season, fans in the ground for the Premier League. It's going to be a different kind of occasion, Brentford away. This will be about just another Premier League game away from home. We've got to pick up 3 points because we should be the better side.
Yep, right. That's September, right? And then there's a little break. Then we get into the month from hell,
Yeah, this is bad. Now this is. See why I was being quite optimistic and nice about the other months. This is
October 2022, just before we head to the World Cup, is going to be a very tough month for Arsenal. There's some almighty fixtures in this one. First of all, the North London derby, Tottenham at home. We've got a good record against Tottenham at home, by the way. Let's not forget that. But it's Tottenham at home. It's a tough game. The following week, Liverpool at home. They beat us at home last year. It's better than Liverpool away.
Yeah.
Right? But it's still tough. Liverpool at home, followed by Leeds away. Now, we did beat Leeds very easily, last year. But listen, Leeds, again, is one of those grounds, very atmospheric. Great support by them. Never an easy game. You know what I mean? Even though I think it's a game we're capable of winning, never an easy game. Followed after that by Man City at home. I guess the only thing is looking at these, those teams that we're playing there.
Yeah.
That are all teams that finished above us last season. They're all at home. All three of those games are at home, right?
Yeah. That's what makes it stomachable. This.
But Manchester City at home, followed by Southampton away. Let's not forget. We lost to Southampton away last season. And then we've got, rounding it off with Forest at home. That's the easiest one. Sorry, I don't mean to say it's easy, right? But they're a newly promoted team coming to the Emirates. You'd say that we should be winning that game. But that's a tough month, October, isn't it?
Yeah. And again, as I said, it's the fact that a lot of those, three of the top four were playing, but at least they're all at home. And Forest, that's the last home game of the season before the World Cup. So
No, it's not. Then we get into November. We got 2 games in November first.
Yeah, but they're both away, aren't they?
Right. Oh, at home. Sorry. Sorry.
Home.
My apologies.
Yeah. So that will be, quite a way to round it off before we sort of send them off. Really. I think. Listen, it's one of those. And do you know what? It's not even just that it's a tough run. It's that it's all in 1 month.
All in 1 month.
6 games in 1 month.
6 games. You see, when we're talking about, we was having the argument last night on, the evening show, and we was talking about, and I was talking about squads. There you have it. When you see a month like that, that is why you need a good squad of real top quality, because, those games come thick and fast. Let's get into November. Only 2 games in November because, of course, in the middle of November, that is when the World Cup will begin. So here are the 2 games that are going to be happening. Chelsea away, which, by the way, we won last year, but never easy to go to Stamford Bridge, although we've had a decent record there in recent years. And Wolves away. Again, not an easy place to go to, even though we won there last year. No, we drew there last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, we won.
We won there last year,
Gabriel.
Tough game. Always tough to go to Wolves.
Yeah.
So 2 away games in November. So October and November are difficult months before, a lot of the Arsenal players depart for the World Cup.
Yeah, it's sort of like it's kind of a weirdly semi-favourable first 8-ish, and then a really tough 8 after.
Yeah.
But I mean, with all these things, ultimately we've got to play everyone at some point. But you do look at the way they're spaced out, and to have 2 away games in November, not a month we typically do well in before we send them off to the World Cup. I think the frustration with that might come in the fact that if we, let's say, even if you lose at the Bridge, but you get a draw at Wolves, I'm not saying that's reasonable, but you don't want to go into the World Cup, or at least come back in December having not claimed 3 points in the Premier League for over 2 months. That's where it could be tricky. So it's a nice little send-off before the World Cup there.
All right, now of course, as I said, crazy football season this year, with the World Cup smack bang in the middle of it over in Qatar. Players will depart. Lots of Arsenal players will be in various different World Cup squads. They'll depart, then they'll come back. When they come back, the first game to resume the season is going to be on Boxing Day, the 26th of December, right in the heart, just after Christmas Day. Arsenal's first game on the return is going to be at home to West Ham, and followed by the week after a trip away to Brighton. That's going to be the last game of the year, New Year's Eve, Brighton away.
New Year's
so
Eve, Brighton away.
Brighton away, New Year's
Someone's
Eve.
New Year's is ruined. That'll be fun. Not quite Bournemouth in August, is it?
No.
No.
Two difficult games, but two winnable games.
Brighton,
on the return.
Brighton fans, please
Although
correct.
Brighton beat us last year at home, let's not forget that.
Yeah, and we struggled away from home. Do you remember the torrential rain?
The torrential rain, yeah.
Cecil got soaked and I abandoned him for it, pretended to be ill. With Brighton, and Brighton fans, correct me if I'm wrong, I get this feeling Brighton kind of start well and end well, but their middle patch, especially the last couple of years, kind of struggled for goals. They play good football, but for whatever reason, they don't really have the same momentum. So you can say if you're going to play Brighton away, then sort of December, when they've maybe not got quite back into the swing of things, is a good thing. But, and I mean this with all due respect, I don't know how many players West Ham and Brighton are we having going to the World Cup. So they might come back really fresh. I might be wrong about West Ham, but Brighton, again, I'm not sure. So I guess there's that to think about.
I think West Ham would have quite a few players at the World Cup. Maybe not English players, but potentially. But listen, not as many as we're probably going to have. So, and again, this is where squads are going to come into play. Right, let's get into January 2023. We kick it off by playing Newcastle at home. This again now is starting to look like a tricky month, a very tricky month, right? Newcastle at home, Tottenham away. Why is it that we always play them at home first and away after? It's rigged, right? No, it's always that case. It's always. Every year we play them at home first, away second. But anyway, Tottenham away in January, but just like it was last year, right?
Until we postponed it.
Right? Let's not do that. Well, it's harder to do that this time around. 14th of January, Tottenham, followed by Manchester United at home. Newcastle at home is not going to be the normal Newcastle at home, which is basically 3 points. We saw them last year. They're strengthening. That's going to be a tougher game.
Yeah.
So that's the month. Newcastle, Spurs, Manchester United. Not easy.
No, I'm with you. Spurs away. Why is that always the second of the two North London derbys? I think it was it's not last season, but the season before, where there was no crowds, that we actually got Tottenham at home as the second round of fixtures. But yeah, I'm with you. Listen, it's randomly generated or whatever, but I'm with you.
Random generator. Well, you know what?
I don't know. But
I'm sorry. I've heard. I'm not having this random generator thing. I'm not having this random generator thing, man. The random generator picked us out to play Palace. First game of the season away. Nah.
Probably.
Sorry.
But
Spurs, so convenient for the first game to kick the season off.
No, what I don't think is convenient is that I think we got Palace away and they went, oh, that will make a nice Friday night game. You know, they got the narrative. It's like last season. They know what they're doing.
It's perfect, right? Because what you can do is you can drop. But basically, how the TV companies, they want to have an Arsenal in there. They want to have a Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, all spread over that weekend.
Yeah.
Perfect. You've got Arsenal away at Palace. Perfect. Right, then you can spread the others over. I'm sorry, I'm not having it.
On just quickly though, on Spurs way, I'm with you. I want to be playing them at home as in the second half of the season when the points are racked up and it's starting to matter. And I honestly think it's probably been 8 or 9 of the last 10 years that we've played them away second.
I'm sure it's 9. Yeah. All right, let's get into February. On the 4th of February, Arsenal go away to Everton, and we all remember how that turned out last year. At home to Brentford. Away at Aston Villa and away at Leicester. That is February. Again, 3 away games in that month. And we all know about our away form last year. We lost away at Everton, of course, last year. We beat Villa away, we beat Leicester away. But they're not easy teams, those two, to go away to.
That's one of those weird months where you're looking at it and you're thinking, well...
It's not an easy month.
It's not an easy month, but then also you wouldn't be happy if Arsenal dropped points in any of those games. You'd be saying they should be getting maybe 10 out of 12, 12 out of 12.
Well, if we're doing anything decent, you want to be collecting at least 9-10 points out of those games.
You know, 1 at Villa, 1 at Leicester last season, clean sheets in both, beat Brentford. In fact, clean sheets in those last 3, and then there was Everton where we were really shocking. But Yeah, it's one of the, you got to think at this point now the season's ramping up. The Europa League, hopefully we made it to the knockouts. Can you believe we haven't? That starts to creep in kind of end of February, March.
As a matter of fact, you know, factor that in because you know
FA Cup,
Europa League, FA Cup, playing on a Thursday and then having to go away to a Villa who haven't got European football. Then having to go away to a Leicester who's got a Conference League football, I think, but. Those things have to be factored in. And again, why we need a good squad. Let's get into March 2023. Arsenal kick off that month with a home fixture against Bournemouth. Then we go away to Fulham. And then we have Crystal Palace at home. So 2 London derbies in that month. But not a bad month.
No excuses here. It's only 3 in the month. I don't know if that's because there's an international break, but then you've got to think again. Hopefully, we're getting past the 3rd round of the FA Cup this year. You think
probably
there'll be
because
a run
of the
there.
FA Cup, maybe that's why.
Yeah, you're thinking Europa League again. Hopefully, we've put together a bit of a run there. So that month will pad out naturally if Arsenal do what they should be doing. But that's only 3, and they're likeable games. Fulham away has never been. Listen, any team can go to Fulham and lose. They'll buy some quality and whatever. But I'm not trying to disrespect them. But it's never been one of those really horrible places to go. So March is. Yeah, no excuses. We should go into April in decent shape.
Okay, let's get into April. Hopefully we do go into April in decent shape because, again, not the easiest. Arsenal kick it off with a home fixture against Leeds. Then we go away to Liverpool. Then away to West Ham. So that's 2 difficult games there. Home to Southampton. Away at Man City. And home to Chelsea. That's 3 of the big guns. And you could even maybe throw West Ham into that mix as a difficult way to go away to. A difficult fixture away from home. That, again, is another tough month. Liverpool away, where we haven't won, we ain't won in donkey's years. Same with Man City, right? Chelsea, who beat us at home last season. And West Ham away, which we won last season, but that wasn't an easy game and is never an easy place to go to. That is a difficult month, April. Remember, we're starting to draw down towards the end of the season as well. Could be where we wanting to get points and stuff like that. We actually had an easier April last year. That is a difficult April. You know, you wouldn't expect us to take anything off City or Liverpool. And the Chelsea one, they took, as I said, that's tough. Difficult month, James. Difficult running.
Well, Shibby's used the word brutal, and he's absolutely spot on. That is a really brutal month because, again, you're imagining that we're probably in the thick of a Europa League campaign. You hope we are because, obviously, you win that, you get to the Champions League. You want Arsenal to put these runs together. Then you've got 6 Premier League fixtures in April. Liverpool, West Ham, City all away, and then Chelsea at home. And Chelsea, we're kind of known better at home than we are away against them. It's kind of whatever it is. So it's a really, really, really nasty month. And where this differs is Arsenal last season got themselves into a position April where they were, I was about to say neck and neck with Tottenham, but we were actually ahead of them come April. But we had the benefit of saying, well, we've been to Anfield, we've been to the Etihad, we've been to Old Trafford, we've been to all these places, but we're going to go into April with these games. Now, we won't know, obviously, where Arsenal, are they in a top 6 race? Are they in a top 4 race? Are they really excelling? Are they miles away? Maybe Arteta's not in a job. Maybe he's manager of the year. Could be anything. But whatever it is, if Arsenal have aspirations, let's say, to get top 4, you need a fairly decent gap going into April. You kind of do, because otherwise that month will absolutely kill us.
A horror month. And then the final month of the season is May, and the season goes deeper into May than it did last year. And these are the fixtures. And this is where I say, I'm sorry, I'm not with this randomly picked Newcastle away right near the end after what happened last year.
Yeah.
Don't tell me, I could predict already that's a Monday night kickoff. Right, same thing like last year, trust me. But Newcastle away, we saw what happened this season, difficult. Brighton at home, lost to Brighton at home last season. Season before, needed to get a result against Brighton to possibly get into the top 4, blew it. Not an easy game. Brighton at home, sorry, it was the season previous to that one. So Brighton at home, Nottingham Forest away. seems like an easiest fixture, right? But
I was there in the cup.
we lost twice to them in the cup, away from home. Forest, as a newly promoted team, we don't know, but it could be one of those teams where they're battling to get points to stay up and stuff like that. And the final game of the season, Wolverhampton Wanderers at home. Never easy, Wolves. One of those teams that do very well away from home. Counter-attacking team. Not an easy game if we're dependent upon that game to get something, but winnable. What do you think of that month? The final literal run-in of games.
Well, if you substitute Forest away for the team that got promoted last season, so Brentford away, that means you're getting 0 points out of those first three. We lost at Newcastle, we lost at home to Brighton, we lost away at Brentford. So that doesn't bode well for us. In terms of that end, listen, that's not a disastrous last four.
No.
It's not. And if Arsenal have themselves in a decent position, you're looking at it going, okay, that's not awful. But weren't we saying that when we had Leeds at home, Spurs away, Newcastle away, and Everton at home as our last four this year? So, yeah, it will go down to momentum. And a lot of these teams will see, do Newcastle kick on, or actually do they regress a little bit? And maybe they're not quite what we thought they'd be. Forest, how do they adapt to Premier League life? Are they fighting to stay up, Forest? You know, so yeah. Listen, it's okay. You don't want it littered. It's not littered with Liverpools and Chelseas and Cities. No, that comes in the month before. But it's okay, I suppose.
And then the following day, after the 28th, the parade around London with the Premier League title. Yeah, no, probably not. But
probably
that
not.
is the season. The big headlines, of course, from it is, I think, the start. Crystal Palace away, difficult game to start off with. It's already been confirmed that that's going to be at 8 o'clock kickoff on Friday, the 5th of August, right? So that is confirmed already. Difficult first game. October, difficult month in October. A month that features games against Manchester City, games against Liverpool, Tottenham, all in that month. Not an easy month. And also straight into November, Chelsea away, Wolves away. Again, not difficult. I think the other part of it, which is really, really tough, is that month of April. That's a very, very tough month. You know, when you look at it, going away to Anfield to take on Liverpool, away at West Ham, Southampton, who beat us last year, but we got them at home, away at Manchester City, and then Chelsea at home. A really, really tough, demanding month for Arsenal. If they come out of that unscathed, they might be doing something special this season. But that's a very tough month. So those are the fixtures. What do you guys think of those fixtures?
They're weirdly spread, aren't they? You know, 5 in August, then 3 in September, and then 6 in October. It does feel strange. I appreciate international breaks and other competitions come into it, but that's weird. But,
all right, listen, let me get into some of the comments, because there's loads and loads of comments coming in from you guys, and we really, really appreciate that. Dr. Viraj, big up yourself. He says, hey, Robbie, hope you're doing well. This is a very tricky fixture list for us. Also, I'm waiting for a link on my mail ID for the podcast that you promised. Hope you're okay and got my mail. Thank you very much. Yes, Dr. Viraj, we are definitely going to hook you up onto one of the things we got coming up. Big up yourself. So he thinks it's a tricky fixture list. Bill Son says, "Are you over Basuma yet?" No. Yeah, kind of, yeah. Wakisim says,
he's asking.
X or Troops you have to answer?
He's asking if you prefer X or Troops.
Big up Troops. He's an Arsenal fan. Luke Morrison says, I'm actually quite happy about Palace away. Oops. He says, chance to show that we can win on Friday and Monday night kind of games. After Palace, it's a decent set of fixtures. Tough game. Vieira outplayed us last season in both games.
Yeah, he did. This it is one of those like opportunities that's presented itself. That whole, okay, show us that where we stumbled so much last season and we weren't prepared for the opening, show that you've learned from those mistakes. Get your players in early, beat Palace away, and everyone goes, oh, okay. Everyone is expecting Arsenal to at least drop
beat
points,
Palace
but
away,
probably
get
lose.
off to a good start.
Yeah.
And then you've got a good set of games after that.
But it's not just a good. It's not like we're playing Norwich at home. I know Norwich aren't in the league, but basically newly promoted side at home at 3 p.m. where you win, and no one kind of really takes sense. Like, yeah, well, of course you do. Well, this is an opportunity to open the Premier League season and go, there we go. Learn from this time a year ago. Learn from those mistakes immediately.
Which
great start.
Which basically was be prepared.
It's exactly what it is.
Weren't prepared going into that first game. Be prepared, Mikel, Edu. Be prepared. That means have a good transfer window. Hiran says, tough April. All set for us to bottle the top 4.
We'll know more about where we are in that Europa League run as well.
Yeah, Carbus is asking what month do we start the Europa League? If I remember rightly, that starts pretty early as well this year.
I think it's typically end of Feb. You get that first leg in, but I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
When does it start? The Europa League. I'm
sorry,
sure it's kicking on.
I thought
the Europa League starting in September.
I thought the knockout. Sorry, yeah.
FA Cup will start in January.
For some reason, I had the knockout. Yeah,
yeah.
There's me assuming we're already there. My bad.
Exempt fan says, don't forget the Europa League, FA, and Carabao Cup. If Arsenal does well, then in April it's going to be very crowded. That's a very, very good point. Petition to bring back Mustafi. I love that name, right? He says, easy for Nketiah to score 30-plus goals with this fixture list. I think he's taking a mick here. Andrew S. says 16 game weeks before the World Cup, and that's not including the Cups. Transfers before the season starts is vital, and I think that is coming across from a lot of you guys that are saying now it ramps up the pressure for the transfer window.
It did last year and they didn't do anything. Well, didn't do enough. But yeah, absolutely, it does. It does.
Yeah, Timo says the Premier League is a marathon. We need more quality.
Yeah. Would you like to see...
Everyone's saying that. Lynn Simpson says, yes, Robbie and James, hopefully with some quality players coming in, it should be okay. Again, but everybody's saying the same thing. We need now that we know what's in front of us, get in some good signings. We have a chance here to get off to a very, very good start of the season. When you look at that fixture list, the chance is there to get off to a good start.
And we have a chance to go into the World Cup having surprised a few people. Just think you beat one of Liverpool or City at home. You know, that month of October, we've got them and we've got the North London derby. Imagine you win 2 out of those 3 games, let's say. And, you pick up some points away on the road. Maybe you get a draw at the Bridge. Maybe you beat Wolves. And you send... the team off to the World Cup or individuals off to the World Cup and the rest of the team on their break going, look what we just did in October. Look at the start we've had. And everyone go, brilliant, I can enjoy the World Cup and come back really excited about this Arsenal team. With West Ham at home, the return, that's going to feel like the start of the season again. And it's going to be West Ham at home.
Yeah.
So, there's an opportunity for Arsenal to do something good in those first 2 months without it being like beyond the realms of imagination that they actually get it done.
Amin says we need to get off to a good start this season. We always shoot ourselves in the foot before we get going. Very, very true. What he's saying there, and it's vital. It is vital. Even their teaser says vital that we build a good squad. Very, very true. It's so important, as we said there.
It does feel like Groundhog Day. So I was super chat from Brian I've just read. Robbie, we won't be ready. #KSE out. It feels like so many times it's only my second year I've been here with you talking about the fixtures. But every year...
Believe me, it is the same every year.
Yeah, well, exactly. I've woken up every day, every fixture list announcement day at 9 a.m. and I've gone, okay, but if we're ready, maybe we can... And who was, I think Turkish asked... I can't remember who he asked on Supporters Club. I think it was Chris. Asked, when was the last time Arsenal went into a season ready? He said something like 1984.
It's probably true.
Oh my God.
We're never really, everything's never always in place.
Yeah, I agree.
Whereas you look at City, more or less they've got everything in place already now. And they're going into train for the season, them and Liverpool, with basically They know what they're doing already. They may add a little thing towards the end, but that person that adds towards the end is probably not even going to be a star.
Tottenham, Liverpool and Spurs. Sorry, Tottenham and Spurs. Tottenham, Liverpool and City have probably got the main bulk of their business done / nearly done. And it's June.
Yeah. Phil says the first 5 games for me is key. Start well, and it will push us forward for the first part of the season. And that is very, very true. Let me just remind you, first 5 games he's talking about there. Crystal Palace away, Leicester at home, Bournemouth away, Fulham at home, Villa at home.
Can I draw our attention to Spurs' opening game? They've got Southampton at home before they play Chelsea away. So that's interesting. And they've got Forest away and West Ham away in their opening 5. City away in their opening 7. They come to the Emirates in the first 10. And then they end the season with United at home, Liverpool away, Palace at home, Villa away, Brentford at home, Leeds away. So a nice last 4 for them. But interesting, sort of, they've got Liverpool towards the end of the season as well.
Just like they did last year, right?
Man United, have you seen their start to the season? So I'm touching on them just because obviously we're looking at what our rivals are doing.
Our rivals have got.
United have got Brighton at home, nice start. But then they got Brentford away, Liverpool at home, Southampton away, Leicester away, Arsenal at home, Palace away, Leeds at home, City away, Everton away. That is all in their first 10, 11, 12 games.
How do they finish?
They finish Chelsea at home, Tottenham away, Villa at home, West Ham away, Wolves at home, Bournemouth away, Fulham at home. So again, a bit like Tottenham and Arsenal. Those last 3 or 4 aren't too bad.
Sort of balanced up, innit? You know what I mean?
But that's a nasty start for United.
Notice you never see things like last game Liverpool versus City or.
So those are the things game. I think are rigged. I think it is set that those games. Rigged's a big word. Those are the things I think are in place. You won't end on a United Liverpool or a City Liverpool. You won't. That will never be the first or last game of the season.
So it's rigged.
No, I mean I think those are kind of things they just put in place for the
rigged.
sake of.
No, what you do when you just put it in place deliberately, that means you rigged it.
Yeah.
So it's rigged. What's City's Man City and Liverpool's? Get those quickly. I'll do a couple more super
Let's
chats.
have a little look.
Baz, but whilst you're finding that, Constanti Notice says, I would like to see us dominate the Europa League. It seems easier to go and win the Europa League than get in top 4 next season. Fan from Greece, big up yourself. Baz says, don't run in January this season. He obviously a Tottenham fan. Listen, don't run when you come to our place. Yeah, I think these Tottenham fans forget when you came to the Emirates, you got smashed as well. You remember that? So you don't run either. Telling us don't run, you don't run, right? Petition to bring back Mustafi says, I'm not joking. Statistically, our worst month is November. Only 2 fixtures there, and no one expects Eddie to do well. He's an Ian Wright regen. It's just that he is young right now. Well, hopefully he does do well. Statistically, we don't do well in November, and we've got the November the November of, having to just 2 games of that. Maybe that might help us out.
Yeah. City open with West Ham away, Bournemouth at home, Newcastle away, Palace at home, Forest at home. That is such a typical City start. I just wouldn't be surprised. They'll kind of swat a lot of those teams 4-5-0 and make a great start. I know they typically don't always start the best and they grow into it, but they'll be fine. They end with Brentford away, Chelsea at home, they'll be okay. Should we have a little look at Chelsea? Because obviously a side that a bit unpredictable, we don't really know what they're going to be like
Chelsea
this season.
Yep.
And it's a trip to Frank Lampard's Everton on the opening day before they've got Tottenham at home. So that's going to be a good game, actually. Tottenham at home. Then they go away to Leeds. That's their opening 3. Everything kind of looks okay for a lot of the season. They end it with Man United away, Brentford at home, Arsenal away, Bournemouth away, Forest at home, City away on the penultimate game of the season, and then United.
That's not an easy run-in, is it?
No, it's not an easy
run-in.
That's
a difficult run.
City away, Arsenal away, United away in their last 7.
That's a difficult run-in.
Liverpool, on the other hand, not that we're going to be particularly worried about their fixtures throughout the season, but they open with Fulham away, then they got Palace at home and United away. They end it with Tottenham at home, Brentford at home, Leicester away, Villa at home, Southampton away.
Home fixtures for them to end up with, isn't it?
It's not a bad way to end the season. That three home games in your last 5.
Yeah.
So, yeah, are you expecting it's not quite Arsenal rated, but are you expecting are you expecting Liverpool to be in the title race? You don't think they'll get dragged into a top 4 battle like a couple of years ago, albeit injuries played their part?
I think we're going to see the same 2 again. Just by going off of what they've done so far in the transfer market. Haaland's going to Man City. Nunes going to Liverpool.
Yeah,
they've got Diaz as well that they've added. All right, I don't know. It's going to be interesting, Liverpool, because they are losing Mane, and he's such a big player. I think there's a lot of games that are really tight and really close where he's dug Liverpool out of. Darwin Núñez is a great player they're bringing in, but he's a new player to the league. So I don't know. I think your favourites are going to have to be Man City. You know what I mean? They've done, again, great business again. Man City are going to be the team to beat. Yeah. I think, again, Liverpool will be up there. And then it's the best of the rest yet again. Chelsea's going to be an interesting one this season because it's not a Roman Abramovich Chelsea. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do in the transfer market and what happens with Lukaku, etc.
They're the ones I'm hopeful get dragged into it. I want to be honest. It's not. I don't take any pleasure in saying this, but I fear Tottenham and Conte this season. Look, I fully expect it to go wrong at some point. That tends to be what happens with Conte. He tends to walk, but. I think they're going to be a good side this year, and I do think they're going to get in the top 4, probably that 3rd spot. I hate to say it. All I need is for them not to be title contenders. So Liverpool and City need to do their thing. And then I'm looking at that 4th spot, and I'm hoping Ten Hag doesn't get United going quickly, and that Chelsea maybe just aren't the same team. They didn't end the season well. Because they always had enough of a gap on Arsenal and Spurs, they kind of were always a shoo-in for top 4, but they were slowly getting dragged into it a little bit more. So they're the ones I'm hoping, if we get our act together, we can pit them to 4th. But
Andreas says, why do we always seem to have Brighton in the last few games of the season? Sachif says, Crystal Meth FC are going to put Arsenal in a spliffy, saying he's doing his impression there. Listen. What overall? What do you think? Overall, the fixtures for Arsenal. What do you think?
I don't like that we got Liverpool and City away towards the end of the season, but then we've got, I think, United away, Chelsea away, Spurs away, all done. Yeah, we've got it here, all done by January. Yeah, end of January, we got all 3 of those away games done. So that's one thing. I think. Look. Everyone plays everyone. Everyone's got tricky runs and nicer runs or whatever. But I think you can say that's a perfectly decent start and a perfectly decent end. And those are the really crucial bits of the season. Do you set off on the right foot and make a statement, collect those points early? And do you have a run that allows you to build momentum and seal whatever it is you're going for at the end? I think we can't really complain there. I mean, our first 5 and our last 4, we don't play any of the big 6. Traditional big 6. That's not bad.
I think it's like a season where
April's horrendous.
The start's decent, even though the Palace is a tough game to start off with. But the start is a decent start for Arsenal. But the October, November are tough, and the end of the season, that March is tough. So I think. But like you said, you got to play everybody, but there are some little periods there where they're tough runner games where I'm looking on it and I'm saying to myself, it's where we look and we say we have to have a good squad. And remember, we're not just fighting on one front this season. We're fighting on several fronts. We've got the Europa League, hopefully a better run in the FA Cup. So we've really got to get our act together and put into it. Now you can see it live in living colour. I keep talking about it. The break in the middle of the season for the World Cup. All these things are going to be significant factors why you need a good squad this season. And that's why I want to see Arsenal active in the transfer market. And I think Arsenal need to do more in the transfer market than they did last year. I really do, if we're going to compete. So, yeah. Right, we're going to round it off. Let me run through everything again. Let me run through all of the fixtures once again, month by month, in case you missed it right at the top of the show. So it's official. Arsenal start off the season, 8 o'clock kickoff on Friday, the 5th of August, Crystal Palace away. That is the first game. Tough. We got beaten 3-0 there last season, straight after that international break. It was a devastating result that sort of saw a big slide by Arsenal. Let's hope we can go there and get our revenge this year. Patrick Vieira we will be up against again. On the 13th of August, Arsenal play Leicester at home, followed by the next week we go away to Bournemouth, and we then have Fulham at home and finish the month off with Aston Villa at home. That's the month of August. In September, we kick it off with Manchester United at home. Then we go away to Everton. Then we take on Brentford at home. That is the month of September. It then breaks for an international break. We come back on the 1st of October with Tottenham Hotspur at home, the North London derby, the first of the two. We then take on Liverpool at home the following week, followed up by Leeds away, then Manchester City at home, Southampton away, and then rounding off the month with Nottingham Forest at home. That is a very difficult month indeed, the month of October, featuring Tottenham, Liverpool and Manchester City. Then, of course, we go into November. Another difficult game, Chelsea away, and followed up by Wolverhampton Wanderers away. Difficult 2 games in November as well. So a real difficult run of games between October and November. Then, of course, we break and go away for the World Cup. Coming back in December on Boxing Day with Arsenal versus West Ham United at home. Then we go away to Brighton. Those are the 2 games in December. Brighton earmarked at the moment for New Year's Eve. We kick off the new year with a trip, sorry, not a trip away, with a home fixture against Newcastle United. Then we go away to Tottenham, followed by Manchester United at home, and then an away trip. Sorry, we then get into the following month, which is February. Look, see,
go back in time.
Those bit of games there have already done me. I've got that November in my head, right? We go into February. Is then Everton away, Brentford at home, Villa away, Leicester away. Those are the games in February. Going into March, it's Bournemouth at home, Fulham away, Crystal Palace at home. Then we get into April. Leeds,
nice April.
The nice April, which is a very, very tough month indeed, which kicks off with Leeds at home, Liverpool away, West Ham away, Southampton at home, Manchester City away, and then Chelsea at home. That is probably the toughest one of all of the months. And then rounding it off in May, we go away to Newcastle. Again, tough. At home to Brighton, a team that has taken points off of us when we've needed them in run-ins before. Away at Nottingham Forest, lost there twice in recent times in the FA Cup. And we finish it off with Wolves at home, where Wolves is always a tricky game, even at home. So that is the fixtures for the season of 2022-23. And just round off a couple more of the super chats. Josh says United will beat you in both games. Well, they didn't last year, mate. And Sachiv says, I remembered when Ty said a few seasons ago that the quadruple is possible for Arsenal. It certainly ain't possible this year with that fixture list.
We can do the quadruple. Europa League, 4th place, What else have we got?
Fourth place comes into it as well.
Something like that. I'm going for realistic aspirations.
Even with you reaching, you can't think of anything. That is a fixture list for 2022-23. There was somebody who was asking me in the chat if there's going to be a transfer daily today. There is. There's Nuno here. Nuno says Robbie is there. Transfer daily today. There is. Transfer daily is coming out a little bit later because we've done the fixtures. But we had to get the fixtures done live first. But Transfer Daily will be out today. And we've got our new show coming out later on as well. Make sure you check that out as well. But that's the fixture list. Those are it for the season 2022-23. A significant season, of course, with the World Cup right in the middle of it. And it's going to be really, really interesting. Get yourself in gear for the first game of the season. Crystal Palace away, 8 o'clock kickoff. Friday, the 5th of August. It all begins again. Thank you very much for watching the show. James, thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe here to AFTV. And something to put into your calendar. We're going to be doing a special Claude Cup, right? Claude, as you know, who used to feature regularly on AFTV, who sadly passed away. We're doing a charity game which is going to feature 4 teams. You're going to get more details of it coming out very soon. It's going to be on Sunday the 25th of June. I think it's the 25th. So we're going to give you full details of that coming, and we're raising money for his great trust. 26th of June, raising money for a great trust that his daughter has, which does wonderful things like, takes people that find it really difficult to get to Arsenal games, enables them to get there, gives them tickets and stuff like that. She does great things with this trust that she set up in the name of her father. And of course, we all love Claude here on the channel. So look out for that coming up at the end of this month. But thanks very much. Oh yeah, by the way, you can get 20% off of all AFTV merch for Father's Day. Use the code AFTV20. The link is in the description. But that is the fixtures for the season. Let's hope we can, let's do better than we did last year. Thanks for watching the show.